Hey guys, what is going on out there this morning? Good morning, good Wednesday morning. Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of 7 Around 7. Hope you're having a great day so far, wherever you are. And I'm out here in the West Coast, Rancho Mirage, the California Desert, Hills Club. The weather dude is calling for 102 out here today. So a roasty, toasty day. Looking forward, though, to some early morning grass court, maybe clay court, depending on what's open this morning, with a big O at around 9, and should be good. Should be good. But prior to that, like I've been telling you the last few days, getting on that stationary bike, getting a little cardio going, and then going in the garage and doing a little bit of core stuff. Not much, a little bit of stretching. The whole thing takes about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, and it's a little bit of if I'm going to play tennis right afterwards, a little tough on the tennis, but that's okay. That's okay, man. I mean, I gotta be doing that to really kind of, I think, keep my low back in check. So anyway, hope you're doing some off-court work as well. If nothing else, just to get quicker, better endurance, fitter, whatever it is. If you need some ideas of what to be doing, let me know. Maybe you got a specific injury or concern that you're trying to work through, and if you haven't had success with it, reach out to me. You can do that if you want to do it in Facebook, make it public. You can do that there, or down below in the comments area, Facebook or YouTube. Certainly, you can direct message me at Facebook, and then, or you can shoot me an email. Keep it private over at brent@webtennis.com. What I want to talk today about is what I think for me is the biggest confidence killer that I get with my game. And I want to kind of tell you what it is, how I kind of work through it, how it was brought to my attention, and when I'm playing my best, how I'm not living out in the future. Before we get into that, guys, I want to webtennisgear.com. Little banner down below. If you want to show your love and support for 7 Around 7, webtennis.com. One of the ways you can do that is go over to webtennisgear.com, pick up one or more of the shirts over there. There's also a web tennis bottle over there. It's all the logo is Web Tennis on YouTube. And when you do that, I'm going to give you, as my gift to you, a way of saying thanks, one of my $97 stroke technique courses. You can choose from one of 7 different courses, depending on what your game needs right now at this moment. But would really appreciate any support you want to throw towards 7 Around 7 would be cool over at webtennisgear.com. Guys, let's talk about what I think is the biggest confidence killer out there, and that's living out in the future. And really what that means is living out in the nanosecond future. And for me, when I worked with Michael Wayman for about a year, back in, it's been a while, back in 2008. And at the time, Michael was the head men's tennis coach over at St. Mary's College in Moraga, California, East Bay, San Francisco, East Bay, where I was living at the time. And so it was convenient as heck for me to be able to have Michael right there in my backyard. And we just worked out, it'd be, at least once, maybe sometimes twice a week. I wouldn't say for a full year, but I probably got to see Michael, I would say a good 18, 19, 20 times, something like that. And one of the things that he really impressed upon me, and it was on a specific shot that I was sort of struggling with, and it was I would work the point, get a short ball to my backhand where the best shot choice was really an slice approach up the line. And right as I was coming into making contact, I was thinking out into the future. I was thinking, because I'm not looking at the guy, right? I'm looking at the ball. I'm not looking at the guy over there, but I'm thinking, well, what if he's standing there? What if he's already right there? Well, maybe I should then go cross court. Maybe I should go up the middle, or maybe I should go a little bit bigger into that thing. Or maybe what if? And the whole what if thing was me living in the future and not fully committing to executing the shot the way that I wanted to. And so Michael just sort of got inside my head and said, look, that guy over there, even if they're standing there waiting for the ball, they can't do anything because you have the ball right now at this moment. And so you're in charge. You get to do exactly what you want to do. You get to take as long as you want to be able to execute this shot on balance with great posture and not have to rush through the moment because you're thinking of the what ifs out there in the nanosecond future, right? And like in the picture here, right? The image, I'm about to hit a forehand. Way too many times I've sat here just about at this moment where I'm about to make contact, and like it's a nanosecond away, right? Is we're thinking about either a result. Well, I'm going to ding this up the line for, whoa, a winner, right? Or I'm going to go cross court heavy for stretching them out. And what happens for me, and maybe for you as well, when I live out in that nanosecond future, I tend to rush it. I tend to get early in contact. I tend to reach out too far in front. And if I go back to that slice backhand approach I was talking about, I was getting out in front and getting under the ball too much, and the ball would just go over there. I might be able to hit my target, but the ball was just sitting. And the reason it was sitting is because I was coming under the ball a little bit too early, rather than really hitting the ball on balance and really being able to play through the ball rather than under it. And so what I want you to be thinking about is, how do you not live out in the future? Instead, how do you live in the present? And for me, number one, it was awareness. Awareness. I'm doing this thing that I want to correct, right? And it was sort of the acceptance. I mean, lots of times we just don't want to accept it. Right? We've like in the picture with this forehand, we've lined up an opportunity to go up the line, let's say, to be able to hit a ball that's not coming back, and we miss it because we're living out there in the future, and yet we don't want to accept it, right? We don't want to accept that we need to make a correction, and the correction is not that you need to change stroke technique. It's nothing to do with that. It's all about, you got to stay in the moment. You've got to be able to allow yourself to not get rid of that ball too early. And so one thing that Michael did with me, as I said, is he just said, look, you got to be aware of the fact that you've got the ball and you can do whatever you want with it. You get to take your time. You get to play it when you want to, not when you think you need to because of something that might be going out there in the future. So for me, a lot of it came down to, can I choose my target early, not go through that list of, well, like in this forehand here in the picture, I could go up the line, I could go back down the middle, I could go cross court, I could play a dropper, I could kind of loop a 3/4 semi lob up the line in the middle. I mean, there's so many different potential shot choices. And for me, what I just decided to do, what was best for me, was to commit early as to what my shot choice was going to be, not based on a result, not based on a point-ending result. Because, as I've said a gazillion times, you can't, I can't, we cannot control what that opponent over there is guessing that we're about to do. We can't control how they anticipate. We can't, because we want to go up the line, we can't force that person to stay there to keep that opening there. So all you can do is choose early, stay committed to it. And then for me, I like to really go with, timing contact with some kind of exhale, right? Or some kind of just, out breath or whatever it is. But something, it's the old Tim Galway thing, right? It's the old bounce hit thing, which for me helps me stay from living out there in the future, right? I mean, the whole bounce hit thing keeps you in the present moment of, when is the ball bouncing in front of you and when exactly are you making contact when you want to. So I think that, this sounds easy, but boy, does it ever take a lot of practice in terms of those few things. Early shot commitment. Where do you want the ball to pass over the top of the net? without any kind of result, hope, or thinking, or God, because man, if I hit a winner on this shot, then it's 30-15. And if I can hold serve here, well, then I'm up, then I'm up 5-4, and he's got to be serving at 4-5. And all these potential result thoughts get in the way. And that's when, now obviously we're living in the future when we think about that. And let's be honest, how many times have you lined up to hit a shot thinking, I'm going to end the point right here, or I need to end the point right here, because if I don't, or if I do, and the chances are that you're like everyone else out there, you've done it a million times. And typically what happens is that kind of thinking gets in the way from you executing the timing of when you want to play this shot. So look, it gets back to the old woo-woo stuff, is you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay in the present moment. And the way I do that is I go with early shot commitment. I trust it. Even if I tell the guy, obviously I don't, but even if you tell the guy, hey man, I'm going cross court, going to the middle of that cross court quadrant before you hit it. So what? What are they going to do about it? So early shot commitment, trust it, and then just wait for the right moment to be able to execute it, because you've got the ball. They don't. Hope this has helped, because for me anyway, it's a big deal. And look, we could actually get into another long conversation about what happens between points, right? You've got that 20, 25 seconds between points, and talk about the potential for living out in the future. It's monstrous. It's just huge. And you've got to find a way to keep yourself in the present moment. I mean, I was talking to Dave Sievertson yesterday, and one of the things we talked about was fear, the word fear, which controls so much of what we do on the tennis court. And fear is really, and I'm going to butcher the definition, but basically, I mean, to me anyway, it's about thinking about a future event that could go really wrong, right? And I mean, so you're between points, right? And you're thinking, man, if I don't win this point, I'm screwed, right? I've got to win this point, or I can't, whatever. And all of that is really, I think, the definition of how we bring fear into the game. And look, I mean, there's a million and one different reasons why we do that. And you got to figure out for yourself if you're in that category, that certainly between points, if you're living out in the future, maybe you need to dig in a little bit and kind of do a little bit self-discovery why you do that. God, I mean, it could be social implications, right? I mean, that's what Jeff Jackledge and I have talked about a lot. I mean, there's so much social baloney, so much social crap that we bring in terms of, well, man, I can't lose to this guy, right? If I, all this kind of baloney. So you've got to find a way to be able to stay in the present moment. And for me, with my 4-part between points routine, a lot of it is just breathing. A lot of it is just getting in touch with, okay, I mean, I'm breathing, number one, so that I can recover, right? I mean, physically, I want to be recovering after every point, even if the guy double faulted to me where I didn't really exert any physical energy. There's still some mental energy out there that's kind of sapping, the gas tank, and you need to refill it. At least I do, with some really deep breaths. And one of the things I think that we got to do is really get into the breathing thing, where we're in touch with that moment when we're inhaling, when we're holding it for a second or two, and when we're exhaling, and stay out of the future. Just stay totally in the moment. And so, but that's a whole other between points routine. There goes the pen. Sorry. That we can talk about in a future episode. But for today, I want you to be aware, when you're out in the court next time, are you thinking out in that nanosecond future as you're about to line up a shot, as opposed to waiting for the exact moment when, for your unique point of contact, let's say for this forehand grounding, are you waiting for staying in the present to allow the ball to get right where it should be, and not be thinking about, certainly not be thinking about result in terms of anything other than your intention is what? Well, the intention is the target. The intention should never be a point ending result, which is future thinking in my mind. So go get them. Go get them. Come on. Look, is this a little tip? Is this a little nugget? Yeah, it might be an epiphany for you. Might be an aha moment for you. But man, if you're going to actually implement this into your game, we're talking about some serious work. We're talking about some serious commitment to doing it. And you're going to go through some times when it's just frustrating. It's boring. You want to work on something else. And if you move on to something else before this thing really gets locked in as kind of a permanent thing in your game, it's just going to be a fleeting moment for you. So maybe this is not for you. Maybe you don't live out in the future. Maybe you're totally in the present moment on every one of the shots you hit. That's fine. But if you're like me, man, I have to work on this stuff constantly if I'm going to bring out my best tennis. And so thanks, Randall. Appreciate that. So again, epiphanies are the start. The aha moments are the start of the learning process. And then you take it from there and you just work the thing. Work it. Then maybe have to be a little self-correction now and then. That's cool. Don't get into that. I mean, even if you get frustrated with trying to learn this stuff, if you're self-critical, because you're sort of making the same mistake, what seems like over and over and over again, well, you're going to continue to make the same mistake over and over again if what you bring to the table is self-criticism, right? If you're really tough on yourself, then it's never going to, you're never going to beat it into you, right? To where, okay, well, I'm going to shove this thing in. No, man. You've got to bring some calmness to your response, to your reaction when you make an error, when you make a mistake. You got to look at this thing as it's a learning opportunity. And if you're going to beat yourself up, you're going to be stuck forever. Don't want that. Don't want that. So, all right, guys, hope this has helped today. Look, again, down below, webtennisgear.com. If you want to show your love and support for 7 Around 7 and webtennis.com, that would be cool. Pick up a t-shirt, men's and women's, different colors, obviously different sizes. And I'm going to give you, as my way of saying thank you, a gift, a $97 stroke technique course. You get to choose which one you want. There's 7 different ones that you can choose from. webtennisgear.com is down below in the description area. Guys, I want to hear from you. What's on your mind from today's little bit over 18 minutes? 7 around 18 today. No, 18 around 7. I'll get it right. I want to hear from you, right? So, Randall, thank you for your comment. Guys, leave me a comment. What's on your mind from today's episode? Either over at Facebook and or YouTube, or you can direct message me at Facebook, or you can shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. Promise to read and respond to whatever's on your mind. With that, guys, it's time to get out there today. Help another human have a spectacular day. Guys, I will see you again next time.